Here's the truth. The financial industry doesn't want creatives to know. Every month you delay this conversation, you are leaving $10,000 plus in future wealth on the table. They count on 95% of us to accept that our fluctuating income is an impossible barrier. Stop letting this one mistake chip away at what you've earned. Together, I'll show you the simple blueprint to reclaim your future, even if you're starting with almost nothing. Before we dive in, I want to be crystal clear. I'm a financial educator, not a licensed financial advisor. The ideas we talk about here are for educational purposes, to help you build awareness and ask better questions. This isn't personalized financial advice, so please always consult with a qualified professional for your unique situation. Okay, let's get into it. The core problem isn't the fluctuating income. That's just a symptom. The real issue is a story that's been passed down for generations, the myth of the starving artist. It's this deep-seated belief that our creative work and our financial well-being must live in separate worlds. We're taught, almost subconsciously, that to be a pure artist, you must be indifferent to money. That discussing rates, negotiating contracts, or planning for the future somehow taints the craft. This creates a powerful internal conflict. We want to be compensated fairly, but we feel a sense of guilt for even wanting it. And this conflict shows up in our actions. We undercharge for our time and talent because we're afraid of seeming too commercial. We avoid looking at our bank accounts because it feels like a distraction from the real work. We tell ourselves that as long as we can cover next month's rent, we're doing okay. We've accepted a narrative that our value is in the art, not in the artist. But your art cannot exist without you, your health, your peace of mind, your stability. This mindset is the single greatest barrier to building a sustainable creative life. It's not a lack of talent or opportunity. It's a lack of permission we give ourselves to be both a creator and a provider for our future self. So what if we could finally dismantle that myth? What if there was a simple, timeless principle that artists and artisans have used for centuries to build lasting wealth, not in spite of their creativity, but because of it? That principle is something I call the law of the harvest. It's the simple, powerful understanding that your creative career isn't a straight, predictable factory assembly line. It's a natural cycle of seasons. There will be seasons of incredible abundance, where the big projects land, the commissions flow, and your cash flow is strong. And there will be seasons of quiet, where inspiration might be low or the phone simply isn't ringing. The fundamental mistake we make isn't experiencing these cycles. The mistake is living as if every day is the peak of summer. Think about it. When a big check comes in from a freelance gig or a gallery sale, the temptation is to immediately upgrade our lifestyle to match that new peak. We see that number in our account and think, this is my new normal. We lease the nicer car, rent the bigger studio, subscribe to all the things we've been putting off. We essentially eat all our seeds instead of planting some for the future. And then, when the inevitable quiet season arrives, panic sets in. We're forced to take any project that comes our way, no matter how soul-crushing, just to cover the higher expenses we've locked ourselves into. This is the frantic cycle that keeps so many brilliant creators trapped, living project to project, year after year, feeling like they're running in place. The law of the harvest flips this on its head. It teaches us to consciously separate our teencome from our teencome lifestyle. When the harvest is abundant, you don't immediately raise your standard of living. Instead, you intentionally and systematically set aside the surplus. You store that energy, that capital, for two specific purposes. First, to sustain you with peace of mind through the lean months, and second, to plant the seeds for future harvest you won't even have to work for. That's all a retirement fund is, a field you plant today that will feed you for decades to come. This isn't about deprivation. It's about intention. It's about building a dam that collects the overflow from the rainy seasons, creating a reservoir of security that frees you to do your best work, without desperation. It's how you turn a fluctuating income from a source of anxiety into your greatest strategic advantage. To make this principle tangible, let's use an analogy from a world we all understand intimately as creators. Think of your finances like the editing process for a film or a documentary. When you get a big payment from a project, that's your raw footage. It's hours and hours of material, full of potential, but ultimately messy and unrefined. The amateur move is to try and use it all at once, to immediately upgrade your life to match that raw, unedited total. It's like releasing a 4-hour rough cut with no story. The professional, the true artist, knows the magic happens in the edit. You sit down and you curate. You pull out the A-roll, the essential scenes you absolutely need to tell the story of your life right now. That's your monthly budget, your living expenses. It's the core narrative. But you don't just delete all the incredible B-roll and alternate takes. That would be wasting the fruits of your labor. You carefully archive it. A portion of it is set aside for your trailer, a powerful, easily accessible emergency fund. And the most timeless, compelling shots? Those are set aside for the legacy project, the director's cut that will be released years from now. That is your retirement fund. It's not deprivation. It's the highest form of creative direction for your own life. We understand that this discipline of editing is what separates good art from a masterpiece. So what's the internal block that stops us from applying that same artistic focus to our finances? That internal block is our deep attachment to an outdated identity. We've been taught to see ourselves as the artist, a passive vessel for creativity, waiting for the muse to strike, waiting for the client to call. In this story, money is something that happens to us, a fortunate accident or a necessary evil. It's an outside force, and so we feel powerless to direct it. We're simply along for the ride, hoping for the best. This keeps us in a state of reaction, always responding to the financial weather instead of building a shelter. The mindset shift is to deliberately evolve from artist to creative CEO. This doesn't mean you stop being an artist. It means you expand your role to become the architect of your own sustainable career. A creative CEO understands that the business side, the financial planning, the resource management, isn't a distraction from the art. It is the very structure that protects and enables the art to thrive for a lifetime. It's recognizing that you are not just the talent, you are the visionary in charge of the entire production. This is the most powerful edit you will ever make. It's a conscious choice to move from a place of reactivity to one of intention. You stop being a passenger in your financial journey and take the driver's seat. Once you make this fundamental shift in how you see yourself, not just as the creator, but as the director of your life's resources, the how becomes incredibly simple. So, let's walk through the exact blueprint to put this new identity into practice, starting today. So that's the real blueprint. It isn't a secret investment strategy or a complicated budget app. It's a fundamental shift in identity, from the passive artist to the empowered, creative CEO. It's about honoring the natural rhythm of your income, the law of the harvest, and choosing to be the director of your resources, not just a passenger. This internal work is the foundation for everything else. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one belief about money you're ready to let go of after watching this? Your insight can inspire someone else. And if you're ready to build on this foundation, subscribe and hit the bell. Together we'll continue to lay down the tracks for your financial future, one video at a time.